You'll never catch 'em in time.
Is that coffee? I can't believe I'm saying this, but drink up. We may want to stand back. Go get him, boy.
Everybody consumes caffeine, whether it be to wake up in the morning with a cup of coffee, to fuel up for a late night studying session, or to get pumped up for a workout with an energy drink. However, caffeine has been used for thousands of years and in hundreds of different cultures. Early people first discovered that chewing on certain leaves and seeds gave them a heightened sense of awareness and a jolt of energy.
Caffeine was first isolated in the 1820s by a German scientist named Friedrich Ferdinand Röntgen. Today it is accessible to everyone in a variety of different products and is consumed daily by about 90% of adults in North America.
Despite the mass consumption of caffeine products, many people don't even know the effects that this drug has on their body.
A part of the brain called the nucleus accumbens releases neuromediators and dopamine, which trigger dependencies in humans.
The effect that coffee has comes mainly from the way it acts on the adenosine receptors in the nuclear membrane. For the most basic explanation, caffeine wakes you up by playing a trick on our brains.
Adenosine is a neurotransmitter created in the brain that binds to adenosine receptors. When it does this, nerve cell activity slows down, causing you to feel drowsy. Caffeine is like an adenosine identity thief. It binds to the same receptors adenosine would, but it does not reduce neural activity. Fewer receptors are available for the natural braking action of adenosine, and neural activity therefore speeds up.
In addition, this neural activity activates the pituitary gland to secrete hormones that produce adrenaline. Fact check! Adrenaline is your fight or flight hormone, so it increases your attention level and gives your entire system an extra burst of energy.
Caffeine is an official drug which shares several traits with drugs such as amphetamines, cocaine, and heroin. In similarity to these drugs, caffeine increases the production of dopamine in the brain's pleasure circuit, thus creating the dependency that many people have.
The half-life of caffeine in your body is about 6 hours. For example, if you drink a cup of coffee containing 200 milligrams of caffeine at 3 p.m., by 9 p.m. you will have 100 milligrams of caffeine in your system. This has a great effect on deep sleep, as adenosine reception is vital to deep sleep. So even though you may be able to fall asleep after that cup of coffee, your body will still miss out on the benefits of deep sleep.
Now, let's delve into the effects that caffeine has on the human body. One human body system that caffeine affects is the nervous system. The drug travels to your brain very quickly, causing that quick burst of energy that people crave in the morning, but too much caffeine can lead to a headache.
This can be confusing because once someone becomes addicted to caffeine, a major withdrawal symptom is a headache. Some signs of caffeine overdose can include jitters, severe anxiety attacks, or in extreme cases, hallucinations or death. It may be accessible, but caffeine is still potentially dangerous.
Caffeine also affects your digestive system. It can raise the amount of acid in your stomach, which can cause heartburn. Caffeine is also known as a diuretic, which means it triggers your body to release water. Diuretics can lead to dehydration, but caffeine is a very weak diuretic and is often consumed inside of beverages, so its effects are not substantial.
The circulatory system is also affected by caffeine. After consumption, caffeine temporarily raises your blood pressure. This can be dangerous because it can lead to an irregular heartbeat and trouble breathing. Most people are not aware of this, but caffeine can also affect the skeletal system. Large amounts of caffeine can interfere with the consumption of calcium. Low amounts of calcium in the body can be dangerous and lead to horrible diseases such as osteoporosis.
Keep in mind that these are only in extreme cases of caffeine addicts.
Fact check number 2. Large amounts of caffeine can also interfere with the estrogen level of women. This can make it harder for them to conceive.
Finally, caffeine can be very dangerous for pregnant women. This may not apply to any of you, but it can be informative for later in life. Because caffeine is a stimulant, it will not only cause your heart rate to increase, but also your baby's. This can be very dangerous for the baby and increase the risk of miscarriage. Once a pregnant woman digests caffeine, it travels to the placenta of the baby, where they must try to break it down. Since the baby is still developing, it will stay in their system for much longer, causing them to continue to feel the effects. All this information may not directly affect you now at this point in your life, but think about it. If you are putting this drug into your body every single day, don't you think you should know what it's doing to you?
Now, let's discuss the ethical issues related to caffeine use.
As mentioned before, over 90% of North American adults consume caffeine daily.
In low quantities, caffeine has been proven to not pose a threat to your health. In fact, it has many properties that can potentially prevent cancer and improve health in a variety of ways.
Like most things, caffeine is potentially dangerous in large quantities, with negative effects ranging from sleep loss to death. The Mayo Clinic recommends no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day for the average adult. That is the equivalent of about 4 cups of coffee or 2 energy drinks. Exceeding this limit can make you jittery and shaky, making it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep, cause headaches or dizziness, make your heart beat faster, cause abnormal heart rhythms, dehydration, and even death in extreme cases.
For your third and final fact check, this is how much caffeine is in your caffeinated drinks.
The average adult needs about 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, but excessive caffeine use can interfere with that. Using caffeine to compensate for chronic sleep loss can create a negative cycle of being unable to fall asleep at night, resulting in being tired during the day and consequently consuming even more caffeine to stay awake.
When caffeine blocks adenosine receptors in the brain responds by creating more of these receptors. This means that people develop a tolerance to caffeine over time and need to consume more per day to achieve the same effect. This can become problematic because a consistent caffeine user will experience many symptoms of withdrawal in the absence of the drug. These symptoms include headache, irritability, muscle pain, constipation, and many more.
What are some solutions to these issues? If you are worried about consuming too much caffeine, you should start paying attention to how much caffeine you're getting from foods and beverages. It may be surprising how much or how little caffeine is in certain products.
Read the labels on the back of products that contain caffeine. Your estimate may be a little low because not all foods or drinks list caffeine in their ingredient section. For example, chocolate, which has a small amount of caffeine, doesn't list caffeine. If you think that you are consuming too much caffeine, cut back slowly. For example, drink 1 fewer cans of soda or coffee each day, or drink smaller sized caffeinated beverages each time you have one. Also, it is recommended that you avoid drinking caffeinated beverages later in the day. This will help your body get used to the lower levels of caffeine and avoid the unwanted effects of withdrawal.
If you take medication, check the bottle. Many over-the-counter pain relievers contain large amounts of caffeine. Look for caffeine-free pain relievers instead. A normal amount of caffeine will almost certainly have no negative side effects. However, caffeine is a powerful substance and it is important to be mindful of your consumption.
When used in recommended amounts, caffeine can have many health benefits. Studies show that the daily caffeine consumption reduces the risk of many cancers such as breast cancer, oral cancer, colon cancer, and brain cancer by up to 40%.
Many people believe these following misconceptions about caffeine.
Of Iraq.
Wrong.
He was
Caffeine does not have any known links to growth in children. The only way that caffeine could stunt a child's growth is through sleep loss. This is because children grow most during their sleep and caffeine can make it difficult for them to get their proper amount of sleep.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
Oh, baby, a triple!
Caffeine does not affect health negatively in proper amounts. As mentioned before, caffeine can protect against many diseases and boost your workouts.
And I said, wait a minute, that's right, that's the answer. I figured, I'm a pretty smart guy, I figure things out pretty quickly. So as soon as I mentioned it, I said, that's it.
Because caffeine is a stimulant, it causes people to be more active. This increased activity helps in weight loss. Caffeine also has been found to slightly boost metabolism, adding to this effect. Just be careful because the drug is often consumed alongside cream and sugar, which can cancel out the benefits.
Wow,